Going to welcome the Chancellor of the California State University System, Mildred García.
Chair, Led, and Senators, thank you for the opportunity to speak to you today. Since this is my first time appearing before the committee, I'd like to begin with a few introductory remarks. I began my tenure as Chancellor on October 1st of last year, serving as the CSU's 11th Chancellor. The first Latina in this role is one of my greatest life honors. In so many respects, the CSU story mirrors my own. I see myself in the students we serve. I am a first-generation college student, the daughter of humble and proud parents who migrated to Brooklyn from Puerto Rico with 5 of their 7 children. I was one of those oops babies. I grew up in a poor and beautifully diverse neighborhood near the factories where my parents worked. But while my neighbors were diverse, their dreams were the same, to create a better life for future generations. Thanks to my parents' vision, selfless sacrifice, and their belief in the transformative power of public higher education, I have lived that dream. And that's the reason I chose to return to the CSU. It is because of the work we do and the students we serve. America's new majority, the first-generation students, students of color, low-income students, and adults looking for new and brighter opportunities. As Chancellor, I now have the profound honor to lead the nation's largest and most diverse 4-year university system, its greatest driver of social mobility and an engine of economic vitality for the state of California. While my tenure is only nearing the end of its 5th month, that short time has demonstrated to me that the CSU is on a steeply upward trajectory and building positive momentum. The CSU stands alone among other systems in its size and scope. We are one system, but our 23 universities are as diverse as our great state and its citizens. In their regions, our universities serve as anchor institutions, leveraging their human, intellectual, and fiscal resources to enhance the social, cultural, and economic prosperity of the communities that they serve. Many of our students are place-bound, or more accurately, place-committed, and reside near the campuses they attend. After graduation, 80% of our students continue to live and work within a 50-mile radius of their alma mater. They are the teachers, the engineers, the caregivers, the business leaders, civic leaders, and legislators. The investment we make, you as legislators, funding the CSU, and we, the university, through academic program and holistic student support, is a direct investment back into not only our students, but the communities across California they proudly call home and go on to serve. Like Michael Drake and my friend, I know these are difficult times, fiscal times for the state. You are faced with many competing needs and an equal number of difficult choices. But allow me to underscore why the state's ongoing investment in the CSU is so vitally important. First, the fiscal reality is that CSU is heavily dependent on state funding. Unlike other educational institutions and systems, we essentially rely on only two revenue sources: the state's general funds and student tuition and fees. We are facing increased costs from recent collective bargaining agreements, rising health insurance premiums, and costs associated with our steadfast commitment to strengthen our Title IX and other anti-discrimination programs and to achieve full and timely compliance with NACPRA and CalNACPRA. Combined, these additional costs total more than $300 million. We plan for these additional expenses in reliance on sustained state investment. Without the funding identified in the governor's January budget proposal, the only source of added revenue we can count on for operating costs is $98 million from our new tuition plan. The balance of our new tuition revenue, $49 million, is rightfully committed to financial aid so that our most vulnerable students will continue to have the full cost of their tuition covered. The importance of sustained state funding is not just about dollars and cents. It is also predictability and our ability to appropriately plan to meet the needs of our diverse students. Considering both the governor's multi-year compact and the 5-year tuition plan we adopted last September, our revenue projections enabled us to reach multi-year contracts with our labor unions. As you know, these agreements were reached after very difficult negotiations, but we believe they are reasonable and that they provide fair and competitive compensation to our world-class faculty and staff who are so foundational to the success of our students. These contracts also include increased parental leave and a return to salary steps, both of which are a priority of the legislature. I am committed to the long-term financial sustainability of the university. We must bring our costs in line with revenues. The Chancellor's Office and each of our universities have already begun the challenging and often painful process of finding ways to cover our additional costs, using reserves if required and appropriate, but more often by making the hard decisions that will translate into ongoing savings. Please hear me when I say we are stretching. We are doing our part. In addition to deploying difficult cost containment strategies at both the university and system level, we are also introduced key efficiency strategies, including an enrollment target and budget reallocation plan that will better align funding resources with the realities of shifting demographics and student demand. And we are identifying additional collaboration opportunities among our universities to further reduce costs. But without sustained state funding, this work becomes exceedingly difficult. Our progress in mission-critical areas will be slowed to the detriment of our diverse and deserving students. When students enroll at the CSU, they expect they will receive the quality academic programming and student support they need to graduate in a timely manner. These cannot be turned on one year and off the next due to volatility in our ability to pay for them. Predictability is as important a currency as money itself. Despite the foregoing, I am proud to report the CSU has emerged from a period of challenge and transition and is now on a steep upward trajectory. The CSU's flagship student success effort, Graduation Initiative 2025, has led to an all-time high in graduation rates and for students from all backgrounds. Our 4-year graduation rate has nearly doubled since 2015, resulting from 19% to 35%. In fact, the CSU has produced a cumulative total of more than 150,000 additional degree holders since this initiative was launched. And although equity gaps have proven stubborn, the CSU is addressing them head-on by implementing an equity action plan across all 23 universities. Improved graduation rates also mean improved access for future students. We are also closing the gap towards the state's enrollment targets. Contrary to recent media reports, enrollment for the current year is up 2%, more than 7,500 students over 22-23. This was achieved through intentional work to retain and support continuing students. Additionally, we enrolled the largest freshman class in the CSU's history, more than 64,000 Californians, and undergraduate applications for 2025 are up over the prior year, signaling continued momentum upward. The CSU is a model for serving America's new majority. 21 of our 23 campuses are Hispanic serving institutions, and the majority are Asian American and Native American Pacific Islander serving institutions. We recently completed a system-wide inventory of existing efforts across all 23 universities to support Black student success. The resulting report assesses the many programs in place, highlights current areas of strength that can be scaled across the system, and sets forth university action items that align with the recommendations of the CSU's Black Student Success Report, action items that will be implemented over the next 18 months. We are committed to and making great strides in turning weaknesses into strengths, including bolstering our university's Title IX and other anti-discrimination, harassment, and retaliation programs. Guided by authentic consultation with Native American tribes, we are prioritizing the timely and respectful repatriation of Native American ancestors and cultural items held on our campus far too long. We continue to collaborate with community service providers and across higher ed segments to identify and scale high-impact practices. These examples and many more underscore an undeniable positive momentum for the CSU, a momentum that has me optimistic about the CSU's future. However, I must emphasize that sustaining this critical momentum requires the necessary ongoing resources. The CSU asks for your support in two key areas. First, because of the reasons I outlined earlier, we ask for your support in continuing to honor the funding set forth in the multi-year compact, either as originally structured or as modified in Governor Newsom's January budget proposal. And second, we ask your support for an education facilities bond that includes higher education so that we can bring our buildings, more than half of which are over 50 years old, to modern academic standards and to address safety and accessibility issues. I leave you with a commitment. I commit to you that the CSU will continue to demonstrate that resources entrusted to us are not an expenditure but an investment with dividends measured in social mobility and more vital communities, and empowering California's future diverse and educated workforce. Our business community's greatest competitive advantage is all of that, all at a scale only the CSU can provide. An affordable, high-quality Cal State degree is a private good, and it is a public good, and worthy and a necessary investment in both strong and very challenging economic times. Chairs Laird and Senators, thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today and for listening to me. Thank you.
Thank you.